I'm Cullen from CullensABCs.com, and the name of this story is called The Three Little Pigs, and it is sponsored by Storytime Felts. Okay, so there once were three little pigs who lived with their mom in a house, and their mom said, "Little pigs, you are too old and you are too big to be living in this house anymore. You need to get out of the house and you need to build your own house and make your own money." They said, "Oh, well, all right, Mom, we'll leave." So off they went to build their own houses. The first little pig, what color coveralls is he wearing? He's wearing red overalls, that's right. He built a house out of straw. So he built a house out of straw. Now look very closely because there is a number on that door. What number is that? That is the number 1. It's pretty hard to see. Good job. All right, so the little pig with the red overalls on built a house out of straw. Now, would a house that's built out of straw, when like the rains come and the winds come, would it stand up? Not for very long, huh? And there was a wolf that lived in the forest. And the wolf came along and he saw this house made of straw. And he knocked on the door. The little pig peeked out the window. And the wolf said, little pig, let me come in." And the little pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And then the big, bad wolf said, "Well then, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he blew his house in. And his house didn't stand up, did it? Nope. So the little pig ran on down the road to his brother's house. And I'm going to see what he built. And so here's his brother, and his coveralls are kind of hard to see. I think they're green. Yes, they are. Green coveralls he's wearing. And his brother built a house out of sticks. Because they were both kind of lazy, you know. They didn't want to spend too much time building their house. And then this house is a number 2 house. You can see that number 2 right there. Good job. And so he's like, "Well, I want to come inside your house, little brother." So he went inside his house with him. And then I'm sure you know who was in the forest and who came along and thought, "Oh, well, I blew down that first house made of straw. Now I'm coming to the house made of sticks." And he knocked on the door. And he said, little pig, let me come in." And what did the little pig say? "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And then the big bad wolf said, "Well then, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And so he huffed and he puffed and he blew his house in. Oh, so that house didn't stand up very well now, did it? So he blew down the first house and the second house, and now the brothers are off. They're going, "Well, we're going to go to our big brother's house and see what he's building." And so then they came to their big brother. And what color are his overalls? They are blue, you're right. Now this brother was very smart and very responsible, and he knew that there was a wolf that lived in the forest, and he wanted to make sure that when that wolf came by to gobble him up, because, you know, the wolf really wants to eat him up, that he was going to make a good house so that wolf could not get in. And sure enough, he spent time building a house out of bricks. Now that is a sturdy house, and if you can look and see, there is a number 3 right on that door. The third little pig made a nice little house. And his brothers were like, "Oh, please, big brother, let us come into your house because there's a big bad wolf in the forest and we don't want to get eaten up." And so the big brother said, "Well, all right," because he was a nice guy. He let them come inside their house. So they went inside the house so that they were safe from the big bad wolf. So in they went. Oh, let's make sure they get all inside. Wouldn't want a little piggy ear sticking out. There we go. So there they are inside their house, all nice and safe. And then you know what happens? The big bad wolf came to the front door and knocked on the front door and said, little pig, let me come in." And the little pig peeked out his window to see who was out there, and the little pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And then the big bad wolf said, "Well then, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And so he huffed. And he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed, but he could not blow that house in. So he started thinking, well, what am I going to do? Because I want to get inside that house, and I want to eat up those little pigs. And so he had an idea. He thought, well, there's a chimney. I'm going to climb up on that roof, and I'm going to go down that chimney, and I'm going to try and get those little pigs to gobble them up. And so he climbed down that chimney, but at the bottom of the chimney, the 3 little pigs had a boiling pot of water that the wolf landed in, and they got the wolf instead. All right, they had good teamwork, didn't they? They worked together to get that wolf, to get him out of the house. Good job, 3 little pigs. Thanks, Storytime Phelps. Bye.